This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
And just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Double T, you were, I think, busy doing other things. I don't know how much of it you heard. He confirmed hand size is part of the finishing challenge for some players more than others. Michael Jordan had enormous hands.
Makes sense.
Julius Erving, enormous hands. Kawhi Leonard, enormous hands. And for the purposes of controlling things in the all the clutter and interference you can get at the line of scrimmage, well, not the line of scrimmage, at the basket, that probably enters into it. That, and of course, as one texter said, he's being fouled 4 times once he gets there.
I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's from Jonny Athletic, our 5:30 guest, I'm guessing, under a burner account.
Or Chris Finch.
It could be Chris Finch.
He was asked pregame yesterday, how have the Lakers been able to defend Anthony Edwards without fouling? And Finch
Talk about a leading
Yeah, Finch said they
question.
haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't, but you got to play through all of that.
And he has.
He has. He's been great.
Largely, yeah.
The Wolves won yesterday. You've heard a lot of sound today, so we will skip forward to what was just released, the last 2-minute report from the game yesterday. A couple of calls. I'll read Dave McMenamin's tweet from it. Covers the Lakers for ESPN.
Dave McMenamin, you say?
Last 2-minute report from Lakers-Wolves Game 4 holds up J.J. Redick's contention that Luka was tripped and should have been awarded free throws. It does not support LeBron's stance that the hand was part of the ball on the out-of-bounds call on Anthony Edwards. I think we all understood that. That was pretty universal,
No, because
I think.
that wasn't the hand. That was the wrist, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Exactly right. But the 2-minute report, I will just read from you the verbiage. They call it an incorrect no call, an INC in the business. McDaniel steps forward into Doncic's path, initiating illegal foot contact that causes him to lose his balance.
Illegal foot contact, you say?
So he would have been at the line with the Lakers having an opportunity, I think, to take the lead at that point. Because we were up by the Wolves were up by 1 at that point. And then after that timeout, LeBron throws it away. Jaden gets the tip and the steal. Julius Randle gets it to Ant, who gets it to Dante, who gets it back to Ant. Then there's the LeBron call. Ant makes the 2 free throws. The rest, as they say, is history.
Sounds like we got a pretty good call there, is what you're saying.
I will take it.
The team that never gets them.
I will take it. So the Wolves have opened up a 3-1 lead in the series. Game 5, Wednesday night, a game you can hear right here on the Fan. I believe that's a 9 o'clock Central tip, 7 o'clock Hollywood time.
I prefer the 10 o'clock start. I'm disappointed.
You love those, don't you?
I can't get enough of them. I wish it was even later than that.
2:30 was nice yesterday.
Nuts. Yeah, and we were. I think it was Alan Horton reminded us we've had almost no Sunday afternoon home playoff games, have we?
Not very many.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
Usually we're the late game.
Well, usually they're reserved for the big matchups, the big box office
knockers,
on ABC, and that's what it was yesterday.
You are correct.
All right, you want my favorite? So I'm such a rube. I basically... Was it Celtics Magic? Was that the late game last night? No.
Celtics Magic, no.
It was Bucks Pacers.
Yeah, Bucks Pacers was the last one.
And that's actually the news we should get to from there, that everybody's worst fears were confirmed that Dame Lillard did, in fact, tear his Achilles last night. So that's, as we know here with Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers and others, the Achilles injury is a long recovery process.
It's a year, and he's pretty long.
35, right?
Yeah, so there'll be, I think the question will be, have we seen the last of Dame Lillard, unfortunately? Hopefully not, but that's going to be, I think, one of the fair questions.
So I stay up mostly because I just want to watch inside the NBA, because that's what you want to do when your team's playing well.
Why wouldn't you?
This was my favorite 2-minute exchange from inside the NBA last night.
Okay. J.J. Redick says it wasn't the plan to play all those 5 guys for the entire second half.
You can't play the amount of weight that LeBron and Luka have to carry. LeBron's 40. Luka is carry. He has to do a lot to play those guys. Them other guys are interchangeable. Them other guys, you can't play a 40-year-old man not in game 4 with 3 more games to go, if possible, 1, 2, 3 to go. So you can't say you're playing it, but you got to give guys a rest. There's physical fatigue, there's mental fatigue. They always just coach it, you need a blow. I says, yeah, give me a blow so I have something down the stretch. And that them turnovers, Luka missed a layup, LeBron missed a layup, and they both had a couple turnovers. You can't, that's fatigue.
LeBron 22 in the first half, 5 in the third quarter, nothing in the fourth quarter.
Nothing in the tank.
I would agree 100% with Chuck. But I would also add, Finney Smith needs a break.
That's what I said.
Rui got you.
There's no difference. But you put anybody in the game, Vincent in there. You can put Austin Reed. Come on, man, stop it.
Because your strategy, then you question your strategy if you can't substitute at all. Or your assistant coaches now, or somebody just like, yo, we haven't subbed.
Yeah, but if you look at the stat sheet, 6 points from the bench.
Well, that's because they weren't in the game.
I didn't play.
Oh, no. Finney Smith played 40 minutes. One guy played 12.
Finney Smith started on the second half.
They played the whole second half.
I'm just looking at this. They ain't getting nothing from their bench.
Because they weren't in the game.
Finney Smith came off the bench.
I know, but he played the whole half, so you can't count him.
If you play 12-49 and you go 0 for 2, you ain't ready. You got to sit your ass down.
0 for 2?
Yeah, he went 0 for 2.
You can't.
Gabe Vincent went 0 for 2 in 12 minutes, 13
So
minutes.
you think, you can't judge no guy in 2 shots?
There's not a long enough bandwidth to see if the guy is actually on or not.
Hey, man, they bench ain't giving them nothing.
Because he didn't play him.
Oh, they played.
They did not play him. He just told you. He played the whole half.
That went on for about another 3 minutes.
That's good. It's a good exchange.
That argument.
For sure.
Over the hot button topic, J.J. Redick's decision. By the way, they've got a second row guy that I noticed yesterday. I actually texted Trudell about it because he's got like Scott Brooks.
By the way, is Trudell is he capable now of conceding that the Wolves might have a chance in this series?
Hold on. I'm not going there yet. I'm waiting for that to finish.
You want it to finish.
I've got some receipts for our buddy from Orono, but come on. Yeah, we've
waited out.
They've got this second row, bro, that is up the entire game. I think he's literally like JJ's right-hand man. And I texted Trudell about it. So I think, because I said, who is this guy? He seems important. And he gave me his name. He's like, he's very important. Because he's got like Scott Brooks, Nate McMillan, all these former head coaches. But then there's this dude who's just up the whole game. He's the first one to JJ when all the coaches convene. It's a very strange deal. But anyway, he might be the one to blame for the 24 straight minutes plan. Because JJ seemed to be taking his counsel on a lot of. He was in the huddle a lot. It was very strange.
Interesting.
We got to
get to the bottom of that.
He'll be a future head coach.
Yep.
So anyway, let's get to what you led the show with: the Twins sweeping the Angels in the first 90 seconds of the show, and then we pivoted away from it. They did get the sweep. We asked them, "Go show us something here." Angels come in 500, not very good. They leave 12-15. Joe Ryan, very good yesterday. 7 innings pitched, no earned runs. Just 4 hits and 11 strikeouts. Joe Ryan picking up his second win of the season. So the Twins sweep the Angels. Let me pull up where we are next. We are in Cleveland next. In fact, that game starts, I think it might have just started. Today's the 28th, right? Yeah, they're about to start. Let me pull up the standings. We're already up 1-0. That's good news.
We never lose again.
A game and a half back of the Royals for third. Okay. And 3.5 games back of Cleveland for second, as we've surged now to 12-16 on the season.
Well, it follows the track of a year ago. The Twins came back home in terrible shape a year ago. They had White Sox Angels back to back, and I don't know. I thought then we won them all. In this case, we took 5 out of 6, correct? We lost the third game to the White Sox.
Yes, the rain.
And then swept the Angels, right?
Bad rainstorm. I think we were about to come back.
Ready to make the comeback?
3-0, we were down.
We're getting some runs, and yesterday, I think you said we had a really well-pitched game, too. I'm not quite ready to raise the banner, but at least a little sign of life from your favorite baseball team.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. You can enter the keyword Bills at KFAN.com. That's your shot at winning. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword Bills.
John Krasinski, I'm sure, with a lot of thoughts about what he witnessed over the weekend. We'll get to all of that with him in about 15 minutes or so right here on The Fan.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Fan.
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday, every hour from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks presented by BigDeck.com.
Johnny coming up, John Krasinski at about 5:30 or so. I'm assuming, is heading back to L.A. He's got the extra day because game number 5 in this series is not until Wednesday. Game 5 for the Wild is tomorrow night. So even in hockey, because that's an extra day in between. In hockey, too, right? Because the game 4 was Saturday.
It was.
So they have 2 days off. And then what's interesting is for the Wolves, after that, it's every other day the rest of the way.
Right.
Game 6, I was going to say will be. There has to be a game 6. Will be Friday night. I think time to be determined still. And then Sunday would be game 7.
Right.
So now we're back to a tighter schedule the rest of the way after having, an extra day off between 2 of different games in this series, all allegedly for LeBron James.
Yes.
And maybe, to a certain extent, for Luka.
Yeah, so it's 3 times in the first 5 games when you add it all up, between games 1 and 2.
I tend to like, I know why they're milking it. I'm not offended by it. We know it's all TV related, and they want to get to that. It's the old deal of we got to get the series we care about, we got to get to Friday, Sunday. So we're going to extend, instead of going Tuesday with game 5, we're going to get to Wednesday. And there might even be some scheduling there, because there's, I think, also a hockey team that might be involved in L.A. Regardless, that's what they tend to do. In general, I think most of us would say, give us every other day.
Yeah.
It's the best way to keep the momentum in a series
good rhythm
going. It's not like people are going to forget about it at this point. We talked with Luigi about the Wild, and I got into this with Russo. I want to run it by you, too, that the Wild are telling us, I never know whether to go singular or plural. I've done some of both in this show. But they're telling us this is different this year. It feels different. We're in every one of these games. So don't dismiss us on the basis of the past. And ultimately, as we've said many years, the players will have the last statement. They'll be able to decide ultimately the way this thing goes. But I can't blame a lot of the casual fans for saying, I've been here before. Chance to go up 3-1. You failed in the 4 previous chances to go up 3-1. Now it's 5 times you failed to go up 3-1. Why should I believe you're going to find a way to still steal the series, even though it's just sitting there at 2-2? And Russo had the note, which Louis alluded to. We were, was it 30-0 or 31-0 going into the third period with a lead?
Yeah, it was something like that.
And again, a lot of that's, regular season, but it's uncanny. It seems as if that every time there's an opening to get a stranglehold on a series, that something intrudes. And the idea that after being able to hold on to leads for the entire season, the one time you don't is when it matters most, is what breeds the I don't even want to say cynicism, I would say skepticism. You have to make your own, you have to build your own equity, right? The equity that would make it more likely that people say, well, I'm not worried still. I think they can still come back. It's now best 2 out of 3. And I don't feel like we've been overwhelmed. I still think we can take care of business. Unfortunately, you haven't. And when you don't, over and over again, even if it involves other administrations and other players, although as Russo reminded us now, what are we, 4 or 5 years in on the Guerin regime? So there have been some other teams that have been in this position. I don't blame people for saying, that was your best shot, man. That was your shot. We went through this. I know you and I on the radio, was it 2 years ago when they had a chance to go up 3-1 and didn't? And that was it. It ended up ending it. Now, that doesn't mean it has to go the same way this year, but it's what breeds that frustration and that again, at very least, skepticism, if not cynicism, is they just haven't proven they've been able to get that goal or make that save or, sort of change the direction everybody looks at a series by winning that game. Now, if they win Game 5, obviously they will have again put themselves in position to say, we are changing it this year. And I continue to be confounded by how difficult it has been for the Wild to do that, given hockey is a game much more prone to those sorts of surprises, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like
that's why it's uncanny.
We are the one team that has been the exception to a long-standing hockey rule that said, no. You're the lower-seeded team. You can win all the time. You get a crazy bounce, whatever the case may be. We haven't done it. So, see, I felt like Game 4 was the first game where for considerable stretches it looked to me like they were remembering Vegas was kind of remembering, we're supposed to be the better team here. Now, some of that was they had a lot of power play opportunities.
Yeah.
Because somebody said, 5-on-5, it wasn't like we got routed, which is true. But I worry that Vegas is starting to figure some, and that's always the fear, right? Is that the other team has been kind of messing around, and they rediscover themselves. They're going back home. They do have some pedigree, and that your one shot to really put doubt into their heads was to get ahead 3-1, as obviously the Wolves did the next day.
Well, just think about the different feeling between the two fan bases because of that one game difference. There's only one game difference, but it feels like it's a Grand Canyon-like divide.
It does.
And this 2-2 doesn't feel like other 2-2s that we've talked about where, you had a really good opportunity. And, there were a couple of years where they just kind of didn't show up and just kind of got dominated from puck drop to the end. And that's why I think Saturday was even a bigger buzzkill, because I thought it was a really good game, and you're ahead of it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you get the rebound to get it to you bounce back to tie it. And then there's some crazy stuff in overtime. You have some good opportunities.
You got a power play and you got nothing.
Really, literally nothing. And that's where it doesn't feel the same as some other Game 4s have felt in the past, but the end result is the same, and that's what feels the same.
Yes.
To word salad that whole thing. You're still in the same spot, and that is why it's what a golden night opportunity, no pun intended, that would have been to really make them think about it, because for the first, the better part of 3 games, certainly games 2 and 3, you were the better team, I thought, by a wide margin, and were the wagon that we associated you with at the beginning of the season when everybody was full strength and you had basically your full roster. And now you even just think about the building. I know the building was on fire on Saturday. I didn't go to that game, but I was listening to a lot of it driving around to kids' stuff. And you could tell, the building felt like Target Center feels like, where they were believing that we're right here. We have this. Yes. We can get this to 3-1. I was talking to Tenna before the show. We all know what comes next if they lose Game 5. The nervous tension building, which does trickle down to the players. If you don't, I think we even had this after it was Game 3. Kaprizov got the energy right away by scoring a couple of minutes in, right? And that takes you from the nervous energy to we got this energy. If they lose Game 5, Game 6 is going to be tight on Thursday.
Especially if they start slow.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to be waiting. Unfortunately, that is the psychosis of a Minnesota sports fan, and it does permeate through buildings. We've all been in them. We know exactly what that feels like.
Well, I need to correct myself. There does not have to be a Game 6 in the Wolves-Lakers series, obviously. They could end it on Wednesday night.
You got the league memo. I figured that you just got the league memo.
Well, I got
LeBron memo.
I don't have the ins that I used to have with David Stern.
I was going to let it go.
Yeah, but they're right now. You can look it up. There does not have to be a Game 6. The series could end in 5 games. It would be quite the exclamation mark for the Wolves to indeed do it. And remember, it took us 4 to knock off Phoenix, right, last year. Then we had to go to the distance against Denver, right? It took 7 games. and then we lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 5.
5 games. Game 5 was here.
And Game 5 was, as I recall, didn't that turn into a rout?
It does, and that's what I'm hoping for as a Wolves fan.
Wolves get routed?
No.
Oh, Wolves rout?
The road team goes to Staples, goes to Crypto, and says, look, we know the narrative, because I remember talking myself into it. If they can just get Game 5, go back to Dallas, the pressure's going to be on them. And Luka came out in the first 9 minutes and had like 27 points. Yeah. And I'd love for that to happen, obviously, on Wednesday, to just say, we're not messing around. You don't have enough. You haven't had enough.
Well, again, this game, Luka's had only one big assist game, I think. Now, sometimes assists are a function of other people just missing open shots.
Yep.
But again, this last game, I didn't feel like Luka was the complete offensive orchestrator that he's capable of being, that he certainly was against us last year as a member of the Mavericks. So that's the trick, right? The trick on Luka and Joker, even though they're very different players, bodies look about the same, is that you want to turn them, you want to just limit them to being big-time scorers. Take away their ability to get other people going, and you can argue, especially in the case of the Lakers, given their supporting cast isn't very good, he can make that supporting cast look better. Well, that is if they actually get a chance to play, which, of course, they did not in the second half of the most recent game. It is, again, the kind of thing that I can't even imagine the congressional investigations people would be calling for if Tibbs did it. Seriously. It would be like, he's got to be fired immediately. Now, he's getting some pushback, including from Charles Barkley and company, but nowhere near to the same degree. And now the Knicks, by the way, they're in good position to advance. I mean, right now, you could say both teams are probably pleased with the trade, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, because it's been up and down for nip and tuck over the course of the season. But now I'm guessing both teams feel pretty good about what they got, because Towns has been huge in the back end of this series. And as I said, I think it was more when he was disappearing. I really believe that had more to do with just not getting him the ball than it did that he was hiding and had no interest in joining the competition. We'll see what Jonny Athletic thinks about some other series. We'll get his reaction to the big weekend at Target Center as well. If you have questions for him, Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line is open. That is 646.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
86.
It's time for Jonny Athletic, Jonny Athletic, Jonny Athletic. And he's on with Dan Barrero right now.
It's a great opportunity to check in with John Athletic, brought to you by RBC Wealth Management. Texts at 64686, the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. And as I reach to get Johnny on the line here, I want to read you a couple of comments that seem to indicate, Johnny, that there is unrest in La La Land. Here's the first quote. I don't know if it's smart to play LeBron and Luka the entire second half after only having one day of rest between games 3 and 4. When we needed LeBron to take over in the fourth quarter, he couldn't. Scored 0 points in the fourth. This same individual, after game 1, Coach J.J. Redick did a great job all season, but he didn't do a good job for game 1. The Lakers stood around on offense, played too much one-on-one basketball, and he didn't make any necessary adjustments. Tonight was one of the worst Laker performances this season. They were flat, no energy, played like it was a regular season game. Shots fired by
Magic Johnson.
How about that?
Your guy.
My guy, yeah.
Your guy.
That's pretty frontal, is it not?
It is. He's not usually that way. He's usually very milquetoast on Twitter and says the most obvious things that you could ever think of. And it's kind of a running joke in NBA Twitter. Just the content, generally speaking, of Magic Johnson's account. But he went right after JJ in both of those instances.
Yes.
I think there is some room for criticism of JJ in this series for sure, but ultimately, Dan, I just don't think the Lakers have enough, which is shocking to say, given that they have LeBron and Luka.
Was it, given the depth issues on this team, the bench is not particularly accomplished? I think the Lakers knew that. I think they were prepared to try to take care of that after this season. They wanted, okay, let's just get Luka here first because you got to get that guy first. But so we have some awareness that they're not. It's not a bench rich with options. That said, I tend to think the decision to go 5 the whole way was malpractice. I can't say that we'll ever know whether it would have made the difference in the game. I just don't think it makes any sense. What about you?
Yeah, I agree, but it's funny, Dan, because I was there yesterday, and the way that the first half went with LeBron and Luka playing so well, and yet they were down 3 at the half. I actually tweeted it coming out of halftime. I said I would not be surprised to see LeBron and Luka go all 24 in the second half. Now, did I think all 5 of the Lakers were going to go all 24? I didn't. But ultimately, I do think it was malpractice, especially when you start the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead. I know that could have disappeared very quickly, but it may have actually helped to get them a couple of minutes of rest.
No question.
And then come back, even if you give up a few points, so they have enough left in the tank to finish the game, because we have seen in every fourth quarter this series that the Lakers have run out of gas. Even in game 2, they ran out of gas. They just had enough of a lead that they held on. But it is clear that it is the Minnesota Timberwolves' goal to take this game and this series as far as it needs to. And they believe that the longer it goes, the more it plays into their hands. And we saw down the stretch yesterday, Luka missing bunnies that he always makes. LeBron missed a layup. LeBron was blocked by Mike Conley in the third quarter. Like they were tired legs. Austin Reeves missing shots. Like those are tired legs that were resulting in some uncharacteristically poor plays, turnovers as well. And so I do think it was a mistake for JJ Redick. That said, I understand kind of why he did it, because I wouldn't trust Jared Vanderbilt out there. I wouldn't trust Gabe Vincent out there. I certainly wouldn't trust Jackson Hayes. So they seem to be out of options at this point.
Well, I'd still take my chances for 5 minutes of Vincent, who has been a representative. And I may not be the same player he was in Miami, but I don't know. To me, the most telling part was, and you were there for it. I mean, there were stretches of the fourth quarter, notwithstanding obviously some terrific defensive plays by LeBron, which did take effort, right? So it did take wind to make those plays. When you see him literally on the baseline or in the corner or on the wing, just standing, doing absolutely nothing, it was very clear that he just decided, I'm not going to do anything offensively here. That's not a good look. That cannot be helpful, even if it's supposed to be Luka's show in the fourth quarter.
Well, and this is also the problem that the Lakers have, Dan, is you're right. LeBron was incredible defensively in the fourth quarter. Yes. He does not have it at 40 years old to be incredible on both ends for 46 minutes. Like that's just, I think it's physically impossible for him, even for someone who is superhuman like LeBron is. And in addition to seeing LeBron standing in the corner and kind of watching Luka go to work, after every sort of stoppage or timeout or whatever, and they were back on the court, every free throw that was being shot that wasn't Luka was like off to the side, hands on his knees, gasping for air. Like you could just tell that he did not have anything left in the tank. And so the two main guys who are really the only guys, and Rui Hachimura played great last night, but they could not summon enough energy. And let's give Anthony Edwards some credit too, Dan. He played all 24 in the second half. He did not come out, and he still had enough to finish off Luka and LeBron, where those two just completely hit the wall.
Kendrick Perkins via Twitter yesterday. Edwards' impact on Randall needs to be discussed. Randall been a dog, but he now has purpose and structure around it, a lot of selflessness. How much, we all know Randall has reemerged beautifully, especially since he came back from injury. But how much credit is it fair to give playing with Edwards, being around Edwards, as being a significant part of this sort of Randall reemergence?
It's enormous, Dan. There are players, your guy Magic included, where you get around them and they raise the level and belief in everyone around them. And that's what Anthony Edwards is doing for everyone on this Wolves team, including Julius Randle. Now, one of the keys in Randall's case is in New York, he was the number 1A guy. He was the focal point of everything, and they needed him. If we want, I'm a ball guy, so they wanted him to be the ace of the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Minnesota, he's the number 2 starter, and sometimes he's the number 3 starter. And when you move him down a rung on the rotation ladder, that fits much more with what I think he's comfortable doing at this stage of his career. I don't think that if they were to ask him to be what he was in New York as the go-to scorer, the 25-shot-a-game guy, I don't think it would work as well. But here, he can play off of Anthony Edwards. He can get the open looks from 3 and knock them down because their Lakers are literally double and triple teaming Ant all the time. And he can go to the basket and have energy to do that because he's not expending all of this energy with the ball in his hands all the time on offense. And the second part of that is Anthony Edwards breathes belief and confidence into teammates like no one I've ever covered. He gasses them up. He hypes them up. He is always talking about them in the media, in public, and that really does do a lot for a guy like Julius Randle. He's a sensitive guy. He wants to belong. He wants to be part of this. And the way that Ant kind of brings him along with this party and doesn't leave him behind or doesn't let him stick in the corner quietly like he's kind of want to do sometimes with his personality, I just think it's had an enormous impact on who he is as a player right now in this series.
Texter, do we have a name here? No, I think we're just an area code, 612. I really need Johnny to talk me off the ledge when it comes to Finchie's stubbornness with Rudy. Rudy has 4 made field goals in 4 games, +4 in the plus-minus. Naz has 17 made field goals, +26 in the 4 games. Rudy, very few block shots, so it's not as if he's having a big impact on defense either. Before you attempt to explore that question, I think we know by now that you evaluate defense on more than block shots, but beyond that, it leads to what I was talking about earlier in the show. I actually think the texter should be encouraged because the last 4 minutes, timeout, in the last 2 games, what has Finchie done? He has sat Rudy and put in Naz, and that's all I could ever ask for is not necessarily that he has to go away the whole game, but to not feel obligated because of a guy's pedigree to say, I got to play him. And I think a year ago, Finchie felt more of that than he does now. And now it feels like all bets are off. I'm going to play the players that I think are going to lead us to victory.
Yeah, that's exactly what my answer would be to the texter, Dan, is that he's essentially getting what he wants in terms of when it is time, when it's winning time, Naz Reid is out there. And I think yesterday was particularly telling in that regard, Dan, because Naz had played really poorly
for
the first 3 quarters of the game.
Yeah.
And I even thought at the start of the 4th, I was like, gosh, can he go back to Naz? Because I understood Rudy, this was not a game for him, but I didn't know if Finch would have the cojones, frankly, to go back to Naz because he really was not playing well. And there are often times where we do not see Naz be able to pull himself out of a tailspin when he struggles earlier in the game. To his credit, to Finch's credit, he came in, he played brilliantly down the stretch. But the other thing that I would say as well, Dan, with Rudy is, he's been a disaster offensively.
Yes,
in terms
that's the
of,
word.
He has 14 total points.
Yep.
He was 1 for 6 yesterday, 3 turnovers. It was really bad. That said, he did have 7 offensive rebounds yesterday. For the first time, he really did assert himself on the glass, and that did help the team, especially in the first half, hang around when Luka and LeBron were playing so well. And so I don't want to completely dismiss Rudy because I think he was really good. He was a plus 14 in game 1. He was a plus 3 in game 3. And, yesterday he was minus 11, but he did rebound well. So there is still some room for him here. I don't think he needs to be completely benched, but certainly Finch has to be smart about when he is out there and who he finishes with. And the last couple of games, he has finished with Naz Reid as he should.
18-11 offensive rebound advantage, to your point, with Rudy contributing, as you said, 7, which was key. We had extra possessions, the whole bit. Those things can indeed not be forgotten. I also thought sneaky, underrated was the DiVincenzo drive to the basket. I as you know, I swoon over players who don't always settle for the 3 or the outside shot, but say, I'm going downhill, other than Anthony, who can do that, as we know. That was a maybe not even that sneaky. That was an extremely large play as well. A very aggressive play, the kind of play you're looking for off the bench from Dante.
Super smart play on his part because he hasn't shot well this whole series. So understanding time and score, understanding how his game was feeling at that moment, it was the right move to go to the basket. And he is not the greatest finisher in the world, but he is tough as nails, man. And he put his head down and he got down there and he got a great look and he finished, and it was huge. And he got the 3-point play out of it. So a massive contribution there from Dante. Also, even though he was only 3 for 11 in the game, 5 steals. Just incredible defense from Dante, incredible hustle. That's the kind of stuff that he can do even when he's not knocking down shots. He can still be a winning player because of the other things he does defensively, because of just the grit, as Chris Finch put it in the game, in the post game last night. Just a lot of grit to his game, and that's what the Wolves needed in this one. They needed grit and they needed, toughness down the stretch to outlast the Lakers.
Fourth quarter scoring, 23-17 Wolves game 1, 2013 Wolves game 2, even the game they lost, 30-20 Wolves over the Lakers in game 3, and 32-19 in game 4. That's a 36-point edge overall in the fourth quarter, and you were there for both of them over the weekend. You're down 4 with 4:25 to go. You're down 104-99. You outscore the Lakers the rest of the way 17-9. And, of course, Friday night with the score tied, they outscore the Lakers 13-1. So we're talking about clutch numbers there, as you know well. If you had to pick one thing that you think has tilted the series in the Wolves' balance, in an area where going into the series that seemed to be their one considerable weakness compared to the Lakers' clutchness, where does that begin?
It starts and ends with Anthony Edwards, Dan. The decision-making, the shot selection, the finding teammates, the playmaking, all of that has gone from an elementary level that we saw in the regular season and some really ugly, tough possessions and bad shots that caused them to lose 26 games in clutch time this year. The ball was always in his hands, and he often was doing the wrong thing with it, settling for step backs, all of those things. He has not done any of that in this series. He has 23 assists and 6 turnovers in the entire series. I think he has maybe like 1 or 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter all series. And it's when the ball is in his hands and he's doing things like that. There was a play down the stretch last night. Ant gets doubled. He finds Naz in the middle, a great pass that he never would have made 5 weeks ago. Naz catches, drops it off to Jaden McDaniels
a great pass.
For an easy dunk and one.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff that looks so easy, but was so difficult for this team earlier this year. And Ant deserves all of that credit. He was the best player on the floor in crunch time the last 2 games. And when you are sharing the floor with Luka Doncic and LeBron James, and you can say that, I mean, that's something that no one saw coming, myself included. I picked the Wolves in 7. I did not think that they were going to be able to beat the Lakers at their own game, which is in those clutch situations. And that's exactly what they've done these last two games here. It's been the most unexpected, kind of remarkable, out-of-nowhere development from Anthony Edwards, and it has meant everything to the Wolves in this series.
Yeah, the pass that led to the pass, because those are both excellent reads and passes, but it started with, like you say, what Edwards did. Edwards has been the best player in this series, has he not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Luka was terrific in game 1 and 2. LeBron was unbelievable in these last two games, in 3 and 4, but through the breadth of the series from 1 through 4, Ant has been the best player because he's doing it on both ends. Luka is not playing any defense. He's having great, huge scoring nights, but he is not playing a lick of defense, and the Wolves are hunting him on that end of the floor. LeBron has been really good both ways, but runs out of gas in the fourth quarter. And here is Ant, the 23-year-old, who is orchestrating offensively, and he is also locking in defensively when they need it most. And it's 2-on-1, Dan. It's 2 stars against 1. Julius Randle's a really good player. He is not on that level of Luka and LeBron.
No.
And so it is 2 against 1, and Ant is looking them right in the eyes and saying, I got more for you. Let's go. And it is just like inspiring stuff. Like, I don't know any other way to put it. He has had this series in his hands and put his imprint on it in different ways. He has 43 last night. He was just as good in game 1 with his playmaking and his lack of turnovers and the way that he kind of just controlled that game. So it's been, he was breaking out last year, but this is another level that he has reached in this series. It's quite something.
What was the quote after the game? Was it, I live for this stuff, or we should live for these kind of moments, something to that effect? And he does. I mean, it's a cliche. It's a little trite, but in his case, you can tell, I mean, he does. I mean, this is what he revels in all this and all the challenges and all the expectations as well.
I don't even really look at it like a moment. I just try to take advantage of every opportunity. I mean, because, I've been dreaming of this all my life, whether it was football or basketball. So just being in these situations, and now it's going against Brun and Luka. And Luka probably the best player in the game, young player in the game, and Brun is the best player leaving the game. So just trying to, prove I belong, and to all my haters and people who criticize me that I'm better than they think.
There it is. Perfectly played. What time's your apology to the Lakers? A 2-minute report does indicate that LeBron did foul Edwards on the great reversal, thanks to is it the Jayhawk camera? No, not the Jayhawk, the Tomahawk? Hawkeye camera. Yes, the Hawkeye. I always get those screwed up. But that indeed, there should have been a foul call on, was it Jaden, who was trying to guard Luka all the way down the court. Luka tripped. So we got one there. The team that never gets the calls, we got the call. That's a big one, because he's going to I think Luka's going to the free throw line there, isn't he?
Yeah, he would have been going to the free throw line, and they were down 1. So, yeah, I mean, it was an enormous call. In the moment, while I was watching it unfold, I can see why they didn't call it, because it was sort of hard to see Jaden McDaniels kind of step forward that way, just, in real time. But it is clear that, he did that. And, another J.J. Redick miscue in this series, he took a bad challenge early in the game on a foul by Austin Reeves that was clearly a foul, lost that challenge, and so he didn't have another to use at the end of the game there, which could have swung the outcome. It is hilarious to me, Dan, that kind of the outcry from the Laker fans of the NBA is rigging this against us. Like
they always do.
It's incredible to hear the Lakers fans saying that. But yes, Wolves fans, you did benefit from this. Remember this, because the shoe will be on the other foot again sometime, whether it's this series, going forward, next year, and it doesn't always go against you as well. So that's kind of an important little lesson to take into heart here.
I've got a strategic question to ask you as we wrap up here. So, given the way replay now is, a significant part of the game, more than ever, that even we can check to see on a play where we're checking to see who the ball went off of, if there was a foul there, which obviously is what saved them on the when Ant lost the ball on the baseline. Can you make the argument that coaches, in this case JJ, has to say, we ain't taking the time out there, inbound the ball immediately, thereby taking away the opportunity that the Wolves had because JJ called the obligatory timeout, right? I want to advance the ball. Yeah. I got to do that. But I'm wondering if coaches are going to have to start thinking differently. They can't have known whether a foul was going to be called. But there might have been a legitimate question the way Edwards was responding to whether who it went off of. So should coaches, can you make the argument that Redick should have said, inbound the damn ball, we'll worry about it later?
Yeah, we see it in the NFL, right, Dan, when there's a close play and the offense hustles up to the line of scrimmage to try and snap it before the opposing coach can challenge it. And so maybe that is a good antidote for a situation like that. I will say that's a tough thing to do if you're the head coach in that moment, especially with a dog-tired team.
Yes.
Say,
because of because the coach.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I understand why he wanted the timeout there. I understand all of it. But you're right. It would have been better for Redick to say, inbound, let's go. Let's get up into the court. Because remember, they inbounded it after that, and they didn't have a timeout after Ant shot the free throws, and they got a dang good look from
they did actually.
The corner.
Yes.
That just didn't go down. And so it is conceivable that, if they inbound quick and they move and they get up the court, they get a really good look and have a chance to win the game right there.
Finchie is not we're going to foul up 3 guy, is he? Does he ever do it? And did he consider it? Did you guys ask him about that after the game?
I'm kicking myself because in the chaos of it, I didn't ask him about it, and I'm going to ask him about it the next time I see him because I cannot tell. I think that Julius Randle may have been trying to or thinking about doing it to Luka as he was coming up the court, but just didn't. And I don't know if he was instructed to and they didn't do it, or if Finchie just let it play out, because he has done it both ways in the past. And I think he generally leans more toward playing it straight up and not fouling. But I do need to ask him about that because the clear play in that moment was to foul. Because that look from Reeves was great. And it was maybe an inch off the mark. Like it was going down and it just popped out. So the play should have been to foul. What I don't know is if Finch told them to do it and they didn't, or if he wanted to play it straight up. So I got to figure that out.
Yeah, that's always an interesting one. I'm not really, I don't have much religion either way on that, but it is always interesting in that situation, especially when, as you said, they ended up getting a very legitimate look. As somebody points out, LeBron foul and Ant, Lakers took a timeout. Then because the Wolves challenged and won the challenge, by rule, that the Lakers were charged with their timeout as well. That is the kicker to that particular sequence.
Yeah,
it does, doesn't it? It doesn't seem quite fair.
I think it's fine.
No, that should be changed. Like they should be able to retain their timeout.
Yeah.
In that situation. But I guess you could argue that, hey, you were taking the timeout anyway.
Yeah,
we're just going to challenge. The challenge just did occur. But I think because the circumstances of the game changed so dramatically in that reversal,
yes,
they should probably be able to keep their timeout.
Any words of wisdom you'd like to, on your way out today, you'd like to give Kevin Fallness on behalf of the Minnesota Wild?
Oh, boy.
Oh man, how do I want to play this, Dan? I'm going to take the high road here, Dan, on this one, just this one time, because I can sense the tension in the tummies of Wild fans right now. I can sense the dread, and what I will say about that crowd yesterday, and that Gaardsy I think will attest to, I have been in that building. And I've been in every building in Minnesota sports when there's nervous energy, when it is dread that this is not going to work out, that woe is us, we're losing this again. Even when they were down 10 to start the fourth, yes, there was nerves, but I felt like they didn't lose belief. and I felt like they remained in it. And so I hope that one day the Wild put a team out there with a star like Anthony Edwards that can breathe belief into the fan base the way that the Wolves have breathed belief into theirs. And to quote Ricky Rubio, Wild fans, Kevin Fallness, you just have to believe, baby. You just have to believe.
That is the high road for you. I was waiting for something patronizing or sarcastic there, and maybe I missed it, but I usually don't miss much sarcasm.
Well, and he's smart enough to know Luka and LeBron are still in this series. Like, that's
exactly.
We got a long way to go here. I know we got to go, but I was at the game yesterday as a fan. I was there Friday sitting next to Parker and Max as a media member, and I got to see, and I hadn't been able to see this in person, Dan. You should see, speaking of Ricky Rubio, the command that Jonny Athletic has over the post-game media scrum. When Finchy comes in, you should see our guy Aaron Freeman, how fast he gets the microphone to Johnny first. Johnny? And Johnny just kind of holds his, like he's like a shooter in the corner calling for the ball.
Orchestrator?
Johnny gets the mic, can ask like 10 questions. Then a couple other people get to throw a few things in. And if he wants the ball back,
he'll get it.
You better get the ball back. I mean, I've never seen some of these guys move so quickly to get Johnny his microphone, to get his questions asked. I was sitting right behind him. It was the only thing more awe-inspiring was LeBron, that little flurry of three-pointers that he had in the fourth quarter. Other than that, Johnny at his age conducting the room like that, I don't know where I would put that in great all-time performances.
You know, in these moments of truth, the great ones want the ball in their hands.
That's it.
And
you want the microphone
the way that I look at it. Like, I want the mic, I want the pressure, I want to deliver, and so that's what I'm trying to do.
Has it become post-game scrum tradition that you are required to ask the first question?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
But it's just because I'm old and I've been there forever.
Yeah,
so
senior statesman.
Years, it's a long time.
I think Freeman's elbow... I think Freeman's elbow actually hit Jace Frederick on the way to handing you the microphone.
Bloody nose?
Hey, poor Jace. He might be in concussion protocol just to get Johnny the mic.
Unbelievable.
I will say, like, it's a tough job because the first question is usually kind of vanilla. You just got to get these guys talking and comfortable, and then we get into
the nitty-gritty,
the real stuff as it goes along. That's why I asked for the mic back later as they've loosened up a little bit.
There you go.
And then we go into it. That's just the art behind it. That's how you get this poetry that you do in the Athletic every morning after a game.
We got 2 subscriptions. We know it.
Safe travels to L.A.
Can't wait. Thanks,
Johnny. That's John Krasinski, Jonny Athletic, brought to you by RBC. That's RBC Wealth Management. We've got a treasure trove of texts to get to. We will run through several of them when we...
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Come back.
Give a one-of-a-kind gift this Mother's Day with a spa experience at Woodhouse Spa. You can check out our contest page for your chance to win a $100 gift card. KFAN.com, keyword contest to enter.
To run through some texts that have come in throughout today's program that has been largely NBA playoffs, Wolves, Lakers, and Wild versus Vegas. We've talked a little bit about a couple of other series as well. Again, I do not want to hurt the feelings of the college basketball bobos out there. I like college. I'm to a certain extent a college basketball bobo, but and to a certain extent, I think you it shouldn't have to be you have to select one as at the expense of the other. But I do think there are a lot of college basketball snobs who have dismissed too much of the NBA game. They don't try, they don't guard, they don't play defense, they travel all the time, and in doing so, they give a very mistaken impression about how much bad college basketball there is that's played. There are a lot of bad college. There's a lot of bad NBA games during the season. There are a lot of bad college games as well. And beyond that, I think the way some of these series have played out, in the Wolves case, even though it's 3-1, in other cases, it may be 2-2, whatever the case, whether it's close or not, whether every game seems close or not, which except for one game has been the case in the Denver series against the Clippers. I think you cannot at least I will not discount that when you're in a best of 7, the play that ended the most recent Denver Clippers game, the desperation shot by Joker that results in basically what almost seems to turn into an alley-oop dunk by Aaron Gordon, just barely beating the buzzer, is the game. If you isolate it to that game, it's a hell of a game and a ridiculous finish. But it's more than that, because as part of a best of 7, there's a chance it might literally tilt the series from one way to the other. Now, ultimately, the Clippers might still go on to win the series, but Denver stayed alive in that series on the basis of that play. So it's not just any game can finish may have as an exciting a finish as that, which is as exciting a finish as you can get for any basketball game. It's, what does it mean? What are the larger ramifications of this? Where does this series go from here? How is the entire series potentially changed on the basis of one momentous play that I don't know that we have a precedent in the NBA precedent quite like that in a playoff game? Do you? I'm sure it's happened occasionally, but very rarely.
No, there was somebody had the tweet that it's like the first playoff game that's ever ended with a dunk at the buzzer type.
Literally.
Yeah,
okay.
Something like that, where it was so rare and crazy. And again, you have to go to replay. Like, what if they overturned that?
That was close.
Like, what's the rule there? Well, one of Gordon's fingers was still on the ball, and it's technically got to be released because that should have been dead meat. That game was done. He clearly.
I think it was the right call.
Me too.
Now, somebody said they used the same camera that ultimately determined.
I think they did
the switch in our game.
The Hawkeye, the overhead cam.
I don't know that I ever saw the overhead cam of that play, and I think I literally think it could not have been any closer. I mean,
no,
I do think his pinky was off the ball in a way that you have to count it. But I think a 32nd of a second more, it's negated. It's nullified. It's no good. It literally was. We talk about bang, bang plays all the time. That's the ultimate bang, bang play, where one more Zapruder-like film frame in the other direction, I think they're going to wave it off, and it's going to be not going to count. I guess that's the beauty of sports as it plays out. But it's more than, if you just said, well, it's a best of 1 and that's the game, we're talking about that game for generations.
That's true.
On the other hand, beyond that, you add the impact it might have on the rest of the series. And look, I think the Clippers really should, win this series. I actually do. But I'm never going to rule out Denver for all the obvious reasons, starting with Joker. But it's how plays like that can seemingly turn a series from going one way to the other. I mean, look at the Knicks game.
Yeah.
I mean, the call was blown. If Detroit wins that game, they're going back to New York 2-2. Now, I think that series is effectively over at 3-1, right? Again, like with the Wolves, the Knicks have to win one more, but they're in a very commanding position going back home. But if it's 2-2, going back to New York, Detroit's played well in New York. They still could, but those are the individual plays that make this thing even weightier when it is a best of 7. Because the best of 7 is the journey, right? It really is. More than just whatever happens in a specific game. It's how you're going to counter, how you're going to respond to it, what kind of impact is it going to be mentally, physically, etc.
You just think about how those series swung on those particular plays. It's now 2-2.
Yeah, exactly.
Denver and the Clippers. And the Clippers were in a great position to take that commanding lead.
Well, you know what happened in that game? Denver played great, built a huge lead into the fourth, and then collapsed in the final 5 minutes of the game.
It just evaporated, right?
Completely.
Yeah.
I want to say it was a 15 to 20 point lead.
It was 20.
Gone. and it looked like the Clippers were going to steal it. It was right there for them to steal. Well, I say right there for them. They made it happen. And then, Joker, again, he throws up a shot that he's capable of making, but that one was not even close. And yet Gordon makes the play, and now they go back. Because now they're going back to Denver. So technically, Denver's got home ice again if they can do something with it. They have not been particularly effective overall in this series, especially defensively. But it is 2-2, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. I think Golden State, Houston Game 4 is tonight, correct?
Yes.
Is Bucket still out, as far as we know?
I don't know. It's a 9 o'clock Central tip. Let me see if there's anything.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. You can check during the break. Let's stay on schedule. I'll come back, remind you.
They expect him to play.
They do expect him to play.
Yep.
Interesting. We'll remind you what you missed earlier in the show and what we have coming up tomorrow.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
KFAN and Custom One Exteriors want to give you a chance to catch the St. Paul Saints in action. Check out our contest page. See how you could win 4 tickets to the Saints game against the Scranton Rail Riders on June 7th. KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter. The show wrap brought to you as always by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washers since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper show wrap.
Thank you, Trent Tucker, who joined us at 4:30. Thank you, Luigi. A day earlier than usual to compensate for some scheduling issues he has tomorrow. Louis was at 4, Double T 4:30, and John Athletic at 5:30. All of it will be podcastable and eventually downloadable as well. Tomorrow, we got an opening with Seifert, I should say, with Louis already having spoken with us today. So, day of game, pivotal Game 5 for the Wild. Russo Radio will file a live report from Las Vegas, Nevada, one of his favorite homes away from home. How about some Kevin Seifert post-draft as well? I know you obsess over draft report cards. And apparently every one of our report card grades has been awful among national media jackals. We'll see if Seifert thinks we should panic, or he thinks that the folks nationally are overreacting to what the Minnesota Vikings did over the weekend during a draft in which they obviously didn't have that many options.
Right.
So we'll get into that with Seifert and more on tomorrow's show.
Kwesi and KOC obviously felt fine. They were both at the Wolves game yesterday afternoon.
I saw that, yeah. And they both had good spots.
Oh, yeah.
I think KOC was literally like right behind the Wolves bench, it looked like.
Was he?
Yeah. In the shots, because you could see him on camera a decent amount. We may have to try to get our old buddy Tom Crean pretty soon, too. Crean, I guess Anthony mentioned him after the game, and then I heard Crean today on the Sirius XM and the Pro Basketball NBA channel as well, and there's always good stuff to get from him. He kind of became a fixture on our show during the playoff run last year. It could well be a long playoff run again this year, so we'll take that under consideration. A lot of other good stuff planned throughout the week. Wild tomorrow night on the Fan, Game 5, and then the Wolves will be Wednesday night. We think it's a 9 o'clock tap.
I believe that's what I saw.
I think you're right about that. On Wednesday from Los Angeles, California. And then Game 6 would be here with a time that is yet to be set, right? I assume it'll probably be the usual. Might be late, but who knows? That could change. You're not exactly sure. Larry Mandela guy writes, Johnny decided to take the high road with his comments for Fallness, so in order to provide a yin and a yang, like Johnny, Fallness has earned a lot of respect in Wild press conferences as well. Wild PR always defer to him, but instead of handing him a microphone, they hand him several softballs. They hand him several softballs. Shots fired right there, don't you think?
I do, and we haven't gotten a text from Fallness, so he must be doing something else.
Tonight is pretty quiet, right? It's Fan on Demand night.
Yes.
And then Dan Patrick as well.
He has some good Anthony Edwards comments for people that are interested in it.
That's good. And Any good guess? I assume he's always got usually pretty good guess.
That I don't know. I just saw the extended ant stretch today.
Fair enough. And then tonight, like I said, maybe I'm underrating Golden State. Double T thinks Golden State's extremely dangerous. If the Wolves have to end up playing them, that would be next round because it's Golden State, Houston. We would play the winner of that series. You mentioned Buckets is apparently back in the lineup. I'm very curious to see how he plays. Dame Lillard, it ain't good there. Achilles, he's out and maybe done for his career. Who's to say? Hopefully not. Injuries, man. They are a key part of the story. Tell the truth. Did you think this time Anthony Edwards might be seriously hurt, or did you say, come on, get up, Anthony. We know you're going to get up and you're going to be fine.
No, I thought he was seriously hurt. I didn't get to see the replay until way later. And he was down on the ground for a long time.
He just ran him over like a Mack truck.
I know.
You think that was intentional?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either, actually.
I just think he's old.
Thank you. Still pretty good, though.
I was going to have 50 on Wednesday. He's great. He's amazing to watch.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll start it all over again tomorrow at 3.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.